Oh, good 1 minute. You ready, Trace? Yes. Up here. Thank you for bringing chairs in. You ready? Yeah.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Randy Hayden.
Here.
Murray Brew.
Here.
Maggie Weimer. Here. Janet Lloyd.
Here.
Jenny Requay.
Here. Any correspondence?
No.
No. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Could you guys speak up?
We cannot hear you.
you.
A motion to approve. Second.
Lucy?
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
I don't know if they there.
We need a motion to approve the regular agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Lucy?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. District reports, PSE.
Lots of people. Welcome, everybody. So PSE, that's our classified staff, which is our kitchen, our busing, our groundskeeping, our paras, our office people and everything like that. And so our PSE Hockey Union Solidarity is back, which we're very always proud to sell tickets to that. I think we sold 200 tickets a few years back. This year we only did a bunch, but we are all together. And the game is Friday, February 6th. There are 17 tickets left. They're $7 a piece up in 216. And it's a pretty fun time. So that's all unions. So not just school classified. The other thing that we've been talking about a lot, and they're sitting here, is some self-care. Self-care is really important for all staff. Classified is really focusing on our own self-care needs. And I have a little flyer.
Sorry, it's up on the counter. I apologize.
Flyer floating around, and anybody can help themselves to that. It's been going around the school. And another one we talked about at our meeting was communicating more. Always communication is an issue in the school district. Some shared experiences. We want to do a team building with a charcuterie board, food, get together like that. We talked about that. Classified Appreciation Week is coming up in a month or so. And then, of course, the hockey. And then, of course, today, I know it's going to be a topic of conversation in our news, the evacuation that happened today. And as leadership for our classified staff, it is my honor to recognize first Tracy Frank and her leadership during today's crisis. And then I want to toot the horns and raise the pom-poms as once again the classified staff at all levels in our school district rose to the occasion, as we do in every tough situation, and we made the transition in crisis possible. We are a collective strength in adversity and proud that we helped to make you look good today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and I think I don't have anything else to check that. That was it?
DEA?
Yes, first and foremost, just going off what PJ said too, just kudos to all staff today, with the situation. It was handled really well. So it's kind of peace of mind, I think, for everyone on how well that went off. And then we want to thank the district for bringing back, the lab position for the remainder of the school year. I know that's gonna help in a lot of ways. And then kind of another fun thing that's been happening recently is the food service has been able to bring back, it used to be Tri-Day Friday, but now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we're able to get a snack in our classroom. It's usually like a unique vegetable or fruit that comes in, we talk about it, and kids just kind of have a fun snack during class time. So it's fun.
Same in the high school, kind of pairing off what Melissa said. Things went as well as they possibly could have today, and we appreciate the really clear information and clear instructions we were given, and that the way everything went, at least on our side of the gym, everyone remained really calm, and I attribute that to how the call came down. Nobody, panicked, and that I think went a long way with our students. And then end of semester's coming up. We're all getting ready to change a few of our classes and schedules. Looking forward to next semester.
All right, Lucy, you're up.
Okay, I don't really have a lot to say this time. We just finished up homecoming. It went well. All the basketball games were super good. Royalty went well. And during the basketball game, FCCLA had a spaghetti feed for community members to come in and eat. And they made about $500 off of donation. And the dance went super well. The sophomore class made quite a bit of money from it. And then the wrestlers had a tournament last week in the Rubber Chicken with Kenna, Creed, and Nathan all placing in their weight bracket. And the Science Club is picking up more activities and labs. They're raising more money for equipment for the Science Club and classroom. And then the Rooted Club has started up meetings, and April has stepped in as an advisor for them. And then we have the Student of the Month. And our theme for December, Student of the Month, was Be the Light. This student consistently brightens our days. She has a fantastic sense of humor and is usually found making someone laugh. She always has a kind word or something encouraging to say. Our school is truly a more fun place to be because she is here. Our ASB Student of the Month is Avery Brown. And that's all.
All right, high school report?
Well, they all took it all. So it'll be really fast and easy. I just, again, want to thank the kids. Our kids were great today. During the evacuation, there were really no problems, no issues. Everybody was great. And thankful to my high school staff and the elementary staff. I was closer to the high school staff, so I know that they had jumped in. I'm sure the elementary did as well. Jesse, Christy, and Mikey at the parent reunification table, they had that down pat from what I hear, because the parents that I've talked to, there were several parents that thanked us for such the smooth process of getting their kids. And really, it is the end of the semester. Homecoming's over. We're pretty quiet, dare I say.
It's okay.
But that's it for high school.
Any questions? Okay, special programs?
Special programs, I only have the special ed rate to share with you, and it's at 23.7 for January. We serve 102 students in various ways.
Okay, elementary.
All right, so last week, I believe it was Wednesday, we held a family event and it was a literacy night. So staff had some information available for families about reading aloud and the importance of reading aloud to children. And then we had read alouds going on in the library. It wasn't as well attended as we hoped, but we plan to do it again soon. And maybe do more of a readers theater to get more students involved in performing for that event. And hopefully bringing more families in. Last Friday, the certificated staff met with a trainer from the ESD, and we discussed phonics and literacy program to bring in more phonics-based instruction. So that will be happening very soon. Friday, we will be looking at, during our teacher workday, we'll be looking at the data from our iReady assessments that just are being completed last week and this week for the elementary. The elementary schedules for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders will be changing a little bit, and I'll be sending that out to families. I just had to make sure that all the times aligned. The 2nd and 3rd graders are flip-flopping times for their specialists with the 3rd, 4th class, 4th, and 5th grade class to ensure that they all get art and music throughout the year. So that does make a change on their lunch schedule, so we'll be getting that out to families. So that, the fresh fruit and vegetables that were mentioned, that's a grant that we received. Usually we receive it early in the year, but it didn't come out until just January. So Amy is providing various fruits and vegetables for a snack, but also more of a introducing different types of fruits and vegetables to our students. I think that's it for the elementary.
Any questions? Okay, superintendent report?
All right, so I wanted to take a minute and respond to last month's, a couple things that were brought up last month. I apologize if I don't have everything listed. My goal is to improve on responding at the next meeting or at the end of the current meeting of comments that are made or requested. So one thing that we're trying to do is put our board packet online so that people have access to the whole board packet. And also I'm working to link our video and sound for the remote attendees for our meetings. So that was a question that was brought up. So we're working on that end of the meeting. Also, there were comments that there was going to be suspension if students carried the Christian flag onto the field. At no time did I or the district mention any type of discipline that would occur for students if they did do that. So I want to clarify that. I'm sorry if it was perceived that way, but it was not discussed. I also am happy to hear that the Rooted group has started, and I'm really thankful for April being the advisor because she brings lunch, and there was an extra sandwich last week, so thank you, April, for that. I'm really excited that they got that started. And I have reached out to 2 of the students after the last meeting, I reflected on how I could have handled things differently. With every interaction, I work to improve my practice. And so I reached out to the students. I've only been able to talk to one, just to say that, like, I could have, instead of using email with the families, I could have stopped and just reached out to the students. And like I said, lesson learned, and I will improve on doing that next time. I am also excited for there was additional funding that we were able to use to bring back a person for the remainder of the school year. It will be very helpful for our students. We're pinpointing our focus on middle school and 2nd and 3rd. Now, that doesn't mean that the other grade levels aren't getting support, but that is our main focus.
Tracy, you might want to explain the acronym.
Oh, sorry. LAP is a learning assistance program, and it's a state-funded program. It's a very targeted program. So unlike some of our other federal funds that we can kind of spread out and use for all students, LAP dollars have to be spent just on certain students that qualify. So that is that program, and it's state funded. On an exciting note, the field lighting project, we had our first meeting last week. So I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but we put in for a grant for new field lighting out on the football field. And I want to mention that we have looked for other grants for counselors, for teachers, for all the other areas that we have a need for. There aren't grants for those options. There was a field lighting grant available, and we were awarded that grant. So the old poles, if I'm understanding correctly, will be cut off about 2 feet below the ground. They'll be taken out, and then they'll be backfilled, and the new poles will be put in around the football field and behind the stadium and the baseball field. So that's really exciting to get that going. It'll probably will have to be after, most of the work will have to be after baseball season, but hopefully by the end of May, first part of June, they can start doing some of the groundwork that won't impact the baseball field. So fingers crossed that all the permits and all of that goes well, and the equipment gets here in a timely manner. And we'll keep you updated on that event. I'd like to thank families for some suggestions that came about last night at our community meeting and levy meeting. They gave me the district some really good ideas on different ways that maybe we can communicate, and just had a really nice discussion around the school and communication. So I appreciate that. I would also like to point out that both the district office, Billy here and Mackenzie, but also the elementary office, Carrie Anderson, has access to my calendar. So if at any time you would like to meet, any community member or parent would like to meet with me, give the school a call, and they can look at my calendar and say, hey, here are some openings, and schedule a time to meet. If you call up and say, is Tracy available right now? It's probably a no. Once in a while, there's an opening, but I really do want to have that connection, and please just reach out and schedule a time. It may not be tomorrow, it might be next week, but we can work to make that happen. And then today, I want to thank everyone from those receiving the call on down the line for how everyone handled the situation today with the bomb threat that was received. I want to thank the students. They were amazing in the gym. The staff, they stepped in, did whatever tasks needed to be completed to keep the students feeling comfortable and safe. We brought food over for this students that hadn't had their full lunch. I want to thank families for coming in, understanding our process that is tedious to come to children in this situation, but it's important that not everyone knows every parent. And we just have to ensure the safety of each child and making sure that we're handing off the child to the right person. There are custody situations in our school district that we have to make sure that if someone comes in and says, well, I'm their uncle, or I'm their stepdad, or we just need to make sure we're keeping our students safe. So thank you for those who understood that process. Town of Darrington, thank you for coming up, being here to help with traffic and other things on the outside of the building. The community center we just opened it up and was able to access what we needed. And the Snohomish County Sheriff's Department for collaborating with us and doing the sweep of the buildings to ensure staff and student safety. I'm sure there is a lot more regarding that. I will be meeting hopefully tomorrow morning with the Sheriff's Department, doing a debriefing of what occurred today, how we handled it, what we can do differently. And the staff, we've already started lists of how we can tweak how we went through the process to ensure things go a little smoother. And I think as far as my district court, I think that's finished.
Cool. Any questions?
Mr. Lau?
Well, I have I wouldn't say a question,
Comment?
but I'm a comment. So I think everyone in the room is dying to know, what do we think was behind this call?
No idea. I'm not, what was behind the call? There was another school district that received a bomb threat as well. I have not been able to touch base with that superintendent yet. I don't know. It sounded more, it could have been just more of a robo-type call. It could have been AI generated. It could have been someone using a voiceover. I don't know. And that's why we took the precautions that we did, err on the side of caution. And if it was all a fluke, oh well, we had a great experience with the reunification process, and we've learned from it. So again, anytime we get a call that my guts, it's, and we're going to move. So, and I know there were questions about where we evacuated to. Now people know where we evacuate to. The decision to where we evacuate will be made in the moment. So it will be communicated to the families as soon as possible, but we will not always evacuate to the same location. Just to make people aware.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to financial enrollment reports.
So just some quick troubleshooting on the Google meeting. Some people are saying they can't get on or they can't hear. There's quite a few people in the meeting and they're telling me that they can hear. It sounds like some people maybe are somehow on the wrong link. If they email me, I can send them the direct link. So you can try that if you're hearing from anybody that can't get on. For enrollment reports, that's on page 22. For the chart, the comparison to last year is on page 23. You can see we're down just a little bit from this time last year. And then the trend is on page 24. We've seen a downward trend so far this year. Not totally unusual, but it is getting to the point that if we continue on that trend, we could potentially dip below what we budgeted, but we're still above that at this point. For the financial reports, the fund balance is on page 25, and that is trending as expected. We talked about that we used our fund balance last year, some of that ESSER money that was still left, and so we anticipated having a lower fund balance this year. So that's all what we had planned. Any questions?
No questions?
Nope.
All right, we're gonna move on to public comments. Grab our 2 pages. Woo!
I numbered them.
These 2 letters.
Yes, but just know that there's a 3-minute time limit, and then we'll actually have a timer tonight. All right, and then Mackenzie's gonna read a couple letters that someone would like read.
We received 2 anonymous letters from concerned parents. This is the first one. To the Darrington School Board, I am writing anonymously as a concerned parent of children who attend Darrington schools. My children come to school expecting a healthy, safe, and supportive learning environment. Unfortunately, that is not what they are currently experiencing. Students are spending excessive amounts of time on Chromebooks every single day. This over-reliance on screens has negatively impacted engagement, behavior, and meaningful instruction. There is also a serious issue with behavior management. Students who consistently follow the rules see disruptive behavior repeatedly tolerated, addressed inconsistently, or even rewarded with attention. Meanwhile, entire classes are often punished for the actions of a few. This sends a discouraging message that good behavior does not matter. What incentive do well-behaved students have to continue making good choices when they are treated the same as those who disrupt learning? The level of micromanagement has also become concerning. Children are having food and drinks taken away during lunch, even when items are provided by parents. Regardless of whether the food is considered candy, this should not be happening. Lunch should be a time for children to eat, socialize, and recharge, not another moment of control and correction. Recess has become another source of frustration. There is little to no equipment available. Students are not allowed to bring balls or play items from home, and they're heavily restricted in what games they're allowed to play. As a result, children are bored, disengaged, and missing out on the physical and social benefits of recess. Communication with families is also lacking. I have emailed multiple times without receiving responses. Parents should not have to chase communication when concerns about their children's education and well-being are involved. Finally, the school has lost much of its spirit. Students need to feel welcomed, valued, and excited to be there. School should be a place where children feel proud, involved, and motivated to learn, not stressed, bored, or unheard. If meaningful changes are not made, I will be left with no choice but to remove my children from the district. They deserve to feel safe, happy, and supported at school. Thank you for taking the time to consider these concerns. I sincerely hope they are addressed. Sincerely, a concerned parent. And now we have letter number 2 from a concerned parent. Dear members of the school board, I am writing as a concerned parent and community member to express serious concerns about discipline practices and the overall learning environment within the district. According to the student handbook, there are no long-term out-of-school suspensions or expulsions for students in grades K through 4. However, the discipline matrix is unclear, and in practice it appears that students are not suspended regardless of whether behaviors are violent, destructive, or severely disruptive to the learning environment. As a result, students who engage in aggressive, destructive, or disruptive behaviors, including assaulting students or staff, destroying property, and repeatedly interrupting instruction, are often returned to the class quickly without meaningful consequences. While these students may receive breaks or time in calming spaces, other students are required to remain in classrooms where they feel unsafe, intimidated, and unable to focus. This places the burden on students who follow expectations and significantly disrupts learning. The lack of accountability is also influencing student behavior more broadly. Students who would not otherwise be behavior concerns are beginning to imitate these behaviors after observing that acting out results in extra attention, breaks, or preferred activities. In their eyes, this behavior works, leading to increased disruption across classrooms. I am also concerned about excessive Chromebook use and its long-term impact on learning. Students complete much of their work on devices, misuse is common, and consequences are inconsistent. Additionally, over-reliance on technology accommodations such as talk-to-text appears to be limiting the development of foundational skills. I am seeing older students who struggle with basic reading, writing, and math, which is deeply concerning. Sending young adults into the world without these essential life skills is alarming and raises serious concerns about their future independence and success. This over-reliance on technology also affects academic data. iReady results are often unreliable when students rush through assessments to access games, undermining instructional and intervention decisions. I respectfully urge the board to review clarity and consistency of the K through 4 discipline matrix, accountability for violent, destructive, and disruptive behaviors, classroom safety and uninterrupted learning for all students, parent notification regarding referrals and serious behaviors, stronger Chromebook expectations and limits on technology use. All students deserve a safe, structured learning environment that supports both academic growth and appropriate behavior. Thank you for your time and attention to these concerns. Sincerely, a concerned parent and community member.
All right, PJ.
You want me to give him a warning?
I don't normally have such a big crowd, but I just want to say how wonderful it is that we can come together like this and look at our problems. And the system that we are in communicating with one another and finding out how to fix these problems is fantastic. I want to take a minute in the bigger picture of the world, recognize that today is Holocaust Remembrance Day today. And I want us to always remember the atrocities that happened. And that can happen again if we don't stand up and unite and question the wrongdoings of the society in power. That when it comes to the bottom line for any system, we must never devalue anyone or lose neither our integrity nor our humanity.
Thank you, PJ.
Oh, you know what? I have to learn how to run my, I put it on 3 hours. That wouldn't be very good.
right, Sarah Paris?
Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Good evening, board members. My name is Sarah Paris. I am here as a parent who cares deeply about our kids, our teachers, and learning environment in the school. I want to talk about behavior, discipline, and consistency, or really the lack of it. Too many students are allowed to talk back, disrupt learning, and even physically hurt other students with little follow-through. When that happens, it isn't fair to the kids who are ready to learn, and it places teachers in a really tough position trying to teach through constant disruptions. One of the biggest issues is communication. Parents are rarely notified when these behaviors occur. Parents need to hold their kids accountable, but we can't do that if we're not told what's happening. It also feels like the school is worried about offending parents, but avoiding conflict now only creates bigger problems later. Students learn quickly when rules aren't enforced consistently, and they learn just as quickly when consequences don't happen. Dangerous behaviors don't stop at the school doors, and they shouldn't be ignored because they happen outside of school. When a student has already been identified as unsafe, including at school, and then is brought back into the classroom without clear steps to reduce risk, our children feel unsafe, and they are unsafe. My kids have told me that they do not feel safe at school, and that constant distractions and disruptions make it hard for them to learn. They've also shared that teachers seem checked out, exhausted, and overwhelmed, and that many days they just copy answers off the board. That's not engaging instruction, and it's not their fault. It's what happens when staff are stretched too thin and unsupported. We talk about providing students with 504s and IEPs, the least restrictive environment, and that is important, but what about the students who follow the rules and want to learn? They deserve the environment free from constant disruption just as much as everyone deserves access to the support that they need. I think our current handbook addresses some discipline expectations, but not enough. What are the rules on discipline and consequence? How should they be applied consistently? The handbook should make that clear so every student and family understands what happens when expectations are not met. So I'm asking for a few clear actions. Follow the handbook consistently. Same behavior, same response across all staff and settings. Notify parents every time this behavior disrupts learning or becomes unsafe. Create and clearly communicate discipline process that staff, students, and families understand. Handbook should clearly outline expectations, steps, and consequences. Support teachers so they're not left alone handling major behaviors, and ensure safety plans are followed before students return to the classroom. A behavior support position is a good start, but we need real solutions beyond short breaks, walks, or quick trips to the fish tank. This isn't about being harsh, it's about structure,
You have
safety,
15
and respect. Every student deserves a classroom where they can learn without constant disruption, and every teacher deserves support and follow through from the system. We can turn this around, but it starts with consistency, consequences, communication, and clear expectations for all staff.
Martin?
Good evening. My name is Marty McCauley. I'm speaking on behalf of my family. I'm a parent of 3 children in the Darrington School District, as well as a Darrington High School graduate myself. I'm here because I'm deeply concerned about communication, academic rigor, classroom conditions, and the lack of meaningful support for both students and staff. Over the years, each of my children have been pulled at different times to attend online school due to unresolved behavior issues, lack of timely intervention, and being behind in their learning. In one case, it took several referrals and my wife and I physically coming to the school before we were even properly notified by email. By that point, we had already made the decision to withdraw our child. That is not a proactive support, that is a breakdown in communication. It often feels like the administration is more concerned with saving face than partnering honesty with parents. My question is, how are families supposed to support the district if we are not being communicated with openly and effectively? I also want to be very clear. Our teachers and paras are overworked, they're overwhelmed and under-supported. They're dealing with large class sizes, extreme behaviors, and unrealistic expectations, while administration does little to meaningfully address the students who are disrupting learning. Our kids are not learning because a few behaviors are allowed to control the classroom. We are writing referrals for things like chewing gum, yet serious behaviors continue to go unchecked. That tells me priorities are misplaced. Furthermore, there are 3 middle school teachers for 6th and 7th grade. How is that effective? We are a small district, but we are not that small. Our children deserve access to subject-specific instruction, smaller class sizes, special education support, and behavioral support services. A resource officer to handle serious behaviors would allow teachers to teach and students to learn. I'm also asking again about the highly capable program. According to OSPI, students are tested and funding is allocated for these services. We do not appear to have an active program. So I'm asking publicly, where are those funds going and how are they being used? My youngest daughter is in 4th grade and is extremely capable. Yet she is bored in class because she is being taught the same material she already learned in 3rd grade through online school last year. Our students should not be held back by a system that is still blaming COVID. Finally, I want to say this. We are spending money in the wrong places. Administration salaries continue to grow while teachers and paras are underpaid, understaffed, and burning out. And it is not fair for the people actually doing the work with our children. Our teachers need support, our students need structure, and our families need honesty and accountability. Darrington kids deserve better than survival mode. They deserve a school system that's brave enough to fix what's broken.
Volume up.
Johnny Soito? Sato, sorry.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Johnny. I'm a longtime resident of Darrington, father and an employee here at Darrington Middle School. I care deeply about this district. For the past several years, I've watched our students struggle academically and behaviorally. Our middle school in particular is facing serious challenges: unchecked destruction of facilities, widespread disrespect towards teachers and staff, even harassment and assaults on both staff and students. These are not isolated incidences, they've become normalized, created unsafe and unproductive learning environments. This lack of accountability in this is harming the well-being of everyone in our district, students, educators, and families alike. I think there's 3 contributing factors. First is insufficient dedicated support for students with special needs. Without enough specialist aids, pull-out services, or targeted behavior intervention, students with challenges like ADHD, autism, or behavioral issues often disrupt the entire classroom. This reduces instructional time for all our students. Washington law requires a free appropriate public education, but our current full inclusion model without adequate resources falls extremely short, as evidenced by our persistent low academic performances compared to our state average. Over-reliance on technology such as Chromebooks and programs like iReady, while digital tools do have their place, excessive screen time in school leads to major distractions. Studies along with my own observations show students are often off task for significant portions of device time, sometimes more than the whole quarter of the period, either on YouTube, games, or general zoning out on topics not related to school activities, and this correlates with lower focus, comprehension, and engagement. In middle school, iReady is degrading and frustrating, leading to kids to just click through rather than truly learn. We need to balance technology with hands-on paper-based activities that build real understanding and reduce disruptions. This might be fixed, but I don't know. But I read that it seems like there's a recent vindictive policy change limiting homeschool families' access to district resources. I think this contradicts Washington state law. I think it's kind of misguided when we spend more time on homeschool issues than the problems we have here with discipline. Parents are losing confidence and more are choosing alternatives like homeschool rather than owning those failures and fixing them, called real accountability. The district decided to target part-time homeschool families, and these restrictions are pushing families away, draining enrollment and funding at a time when retention is critical. Let's change this together with practical student-centered steps. First, let's strengthen special education by hiring additional specialists, and let's not forget about discipline and accountability. A stern talking to and referrals are not effective for repetitive rule violation. Let's balance technology use by limiting Chromebooks to essential tasks, prioritizing paper-based reading and hands-on learning, and eliminating iReady to prevent overuse while incorporating engaging activities. I want you all to at least comply to homeschool laws. Our children deserve an engaging, supportive, and safe education that works for all learners, not rigid policies that prioritize convenience over results. Thank you for your time. I know it's not easy.
Adeline.
Adeline, you're up.
Hi, I'm Adeline. I attend Darrington High School for the first 3 periods of the day and the last 3 periods I do online. This policy on us partial homeschool kids is not okay. I am so proud to be a logger, but if I have to choose between being a logger and my learning, I will choose my learning. I was not getting the best experience I could that I am with my online schooling because of no one having repercussions for their actions, letting students run wild in classes, and is affecting everyone else who is trying to learn. You're either left behind or can't move forward in your learning due to these kids. I have finished my full Algebra 1 course for my freshman year in 3 months. It feels like you are punishing us half homeschool kids for trying to better our learning, and it makes you look like you care more about saving face in front of the state and keeping your funding than the well-being and learning of the students. I thought it would be better if you hear straight from a student rather than a parent or a teacher. Please think about my statement.
Randy Ross?
Wait a minute.
Okay, I want to just do thank yous before you start my time, okay? Is that okay? Or not?
If you make it quick.
Okay. I just wanted to thank you guys all. It was interesting to be on the parent side, coming to pick up my kids quickly today. I'm always here practicing the routines, and then in that moment, it was just, you guys were on it, and it means a lot, so thank you. Good evening, superintendent, board members, staff, and fellow community members. My name is Randy, and I speak in support of our students, staff, and families. I've been a paraeducator at this district for 4 years plus. I've subbed for teachers for a year and volunteered through many other community outlets. We're facing serious challenges, staff shortages and burnout, student mental health, academic gaps, school safety, and budget strains that demand proactive action, not just reaction. These issues students are facing in our district affect many. At least 5 district employees and many other families this year alone have pulled their children completely or have had to alter their environments. A recent middle school Chromebook throwing incident highlights unclear consequences and safety gaps. Mr. Hayden has proposed several new ideas to help our school. I ask that we please seriously consider further inquiries into his ideas, including reconsidering some of the models he brought forth about 2 years ago, which focused on social constructivist approach. Encourage the bear kids to tutor the little ones. Some do now, but let's make it district-wide. Set up leaders to lead and encourage others to grow and reach their personal goals. Has anyone else inquired about Mr. Hayden's other more recent proposal to learn from other districts? This other district that was seeing great success in test scores? Why is a new band teacher at the top of our list when gen ed teachers could greatly benefit from offering a larger class budget for supplies? They could teach hands-on science projects versus watching YouTube videos to learn about science. Social emotional skills will then be exercised through teamwork, sharing, and taking turns. We might not need to take up class time for lectures on social emotional learning if they were learning through hands-on projects. What if all it took was an adaptation of a different system? Emphasis on play-based learning in early education is proving to help other districts. Kinders and first graders don't need iReady on Chromebooks. What if we integrated connection and creativity with curiosity and inspired our students with leadership roles in which they helped us craft their learning and schedules? We would foster student ownership and motivation. Student-centered learning allows them to connect learning to their interests, in which they would build crucial self-regulation skills and become active participants in their education. Little by little, we can do it. One of my middle school children in the highest group on state testing scored in the highest group on state testing, yet his elective is spent in a split lab class, basically, where they are expected to spend much of their time on iReady, working on their Chromebooks. What else could you offer these students? Many students struggle with reading. From what I've observed over the years in my own children's iReady physical math books, a majority of the curriculum is solving multiple step word problems.
5 seconds.
How do we expect struggling readers to be successful solving math and reading the problem is difficult, let alone decoding math steps? So I'm right towards the end. Yesterday I asked PJ if she could finish for me. And so she's next. I know she already spoke on hers. Is that okay, or am I allowed to finish a little bit?
Let her finish.
Okay. Okay. From what I have observed over the years in my own children's iReady physical math books, a majority of the curriculum is solving multiple step word problems. How do we expect struggling readers to be successful solving math when reading the problem is difficult, let alone decoding the math steps? When I was a kid, you have 1 or 2 word problems at the end of a lesson. With iReady, it seems to have basically switched. Given current strains, please reconsider placing 8th graders in the high school next year. I know it has not benefited a group, and with 8th graders coming up for next year, I'm concerned. I respectfully ask the board to thoroughly review the last 2 years of youth truth surveys that have been completed by students. There's a lot of data in there that shows you what they're struggling with, and it's from their own words. Please explore Mr. Hayden's ideas, implement clear safety measures, and explore creative learning approaches. Review iReady math and reading curriculum. Reassess 8th grade placement for better readiness. Engage data and families to support retention and well-being. Thank you for your dedication.
Alrighty.
Chia?
Okay. Dear board members, my name is Chia Gray. I'm a mother of 3, a Darrington alumna, and a concerned parent and community member. I'm speaking today to share documented concerns related to student safety, academic progress, behavior management, and the effectiveness of student support system within our district. As a parent of 3 children with very different learning styles and needs, I have seen the gaps in consistency and enforcement affect students across the spectrum. My oldest child is quiet, artistic, and thoughtful. In larger districts, she progressed academically and felt safe. Since enrolling in Darrington, however, her academic growth has declined, and more importantly, her sense of safety has been compromised. She has reported repeated experiences of sexually inappropriate behavior from peers beginning in elementary school and continuing through later grades. These concerns were brought forward, and some incidents occurred in supervised settings, such as classrooms. The responses, however, have been inconsistent and ineffective. Students who report harm were often expected to adjust their own behavior rather than seeing meaningful changes in the environment or the offenders. When safety concerns are addressed inconsistently, it undermines trust and places the burden on students rather than the system. My child has repeatedly expressed feeling unsafe at school. This is not an isolated concern. When students perceive that serious behaviors do not result in predictable consequences, it sends a message that safety is negotiable. At the same time, minor rule violations are enforced strictly, creating confusions about priorities and expectations. Classroom learning is also being impacted. Even in this quiet room, it takes effort for us adults to get up here and speak. How many students are expected to learn in classrooms with frequent disruptions? How is that fair? Without consistent boundaries and follow-through, learning suffers for everyone. When consequences are minimal or delayed, they do not correct behavior and instead contribute to frustration and anxiety among students and staff. My middle child represents a different gap. She is academically advanced and eager to learn. When gifted services were discussed, testing was encouraged, yet there was no clear explanation of the program, the goals, or the outcomes for my child. Placement did not result in meaningful enrichment or differentiation beyond what she was already receiving. Similarly, for students with 504 or IEPs, services often exist on paper, but outcomes do not reflect effective intervention or progress. What these experiences highlight is a need for clearer systems. Students need consistent, enforceable behavior expectations. Safety concerns require swift, predictable responses. Academic support, whether for gifted students or those requiring additional services, must be measurable and effective. Families need proactive, timely communication before concerns escalate, not after the system has already failed in an email. This is not about staffing, funding, or class size. It's about leadership, accountability, and consistency. The impact of these issues is visible in student outcomes, behavior patterns, and the number of families choosing to leave the district. Children deserve a learning environment that is safe, structured, and equitable. At this time, those basic expectations are not being met. I urge the board to reflect on these concerns and prioritize clear, enforceable systems that protect all students and support learning for all. Thank you.
Suzette?
Well, I didn't write down anything and make a big prepared speech or whatever. Do I have to stand anywhere?
Anywhere.
Wherever you want.
I went to school here. I graduated in '84. My oldest two went to school here for quite a while till we went to a different school district. They got a better education. We all want to pass a levy for more money, but you can tell how many people are upset and need to fix some kind of situation. So I understand kids want sports and all this other stuff, but we have to make priorities somewhere else. I have spoken to a lot of people that are homeschooling their kids, asking them why. And a lot of the issue happens to be a general IEP topic for several that I've talked to. My oldest daughter, who went to school here in the early 90s, mid 90s, she had an IEP and we didn't have any problem. It was great then. So with technology and growth and everything changes, how come things haven't gotten better? How come things have gotten worse? So it's just a lot of things that people are talking about, and it's going to be hard to pass a levy when everybody has all this concern about their children not being educated and people homeschooling. We need to educate our kids. We've got to send them out in the world to read, write, and do more than that. You know, be productive. Can't be disruptive in class and bother all these kids, and you know, they get a slap on the hand or look at a fish tank or whatever the heck was going on and being sent back to the class. People have just said that their children aren't treated fairly, and when approaching people in the office or teachers or whatever, that they don't feel heard. They feel that they're not part of the Darrington clique and being sent somewhere else. So nobody was homeschooled when I went to school, and it was a very rare thing. Why is it so prominent now? That says a lot.
Eileen Jones?
Hi, I'm Eileen Jones. I retired from Darrington as a teacher, but I came here about 30-some years ago. As a newcomer to Darrington then, an outsider, came as a principal. I was here for a few years, and I've been a lot of places, done a lot of things, and I'm really proud of that. But finishing my career in Darrington was a good choice. I'm here to give you, not a story about me, but what the levy committee has been up to. And if you want a pen, I have lots of pens. We've had meetings a couple weekends ago. We did an informational table at IGA and with Tracy McKenzie and some of the committee members. If you're in the committee, raise your hand. Thank you for your work. So we did sign waving. We got a lot of honks and thumbs up. And in listening to people tonight of your concerns, I'm just thinking, here it is. You're asking for more help, and they need more help. We need more IAs. We need more teaching staff. We need behavioral interventionists. That's in the levy. What you're asking for is here. Talking about people being stressed, overworked. I hear it, I see it, and my heart goes out to them. But there's been a budget cut this year. There had to be a budget cut because some money went away, and some money for the district. District finance is very complicated. I'm just in awe of what you guys do. But it's very difficult and it's hard to make decisions. But what you're asking for, school counselor, more support staff, a band program that goes all the way through so high school students have that option. A lot of people are choosing to leave the district because their kids in high school don't have band. when I was here before, 30 some years ago, band was really big. I loved it because there would be community members in band as well. And we had pep bands. And people at the game the other day were saying, wouldn't it be great for a pep band again? That's a possibility here. So behavioral support and instructional improvement, it's here. A lot of what people are saying tonight, this levy is really important. And it is much as, I know that there's some animosity out there, but I think this is a really good move. If you need information about the levy, call. Mackenzie is wonderful to talk to. She explains things to me every day. Talk to the committee members. Come to the informational meetings. There was a good turnout last night, some really good questions, some really good suggestions too. So I'm just here to let you know there's sign waving tomorrow at 3:30 at the White Horse. And also down here at the four-way stop, if you want to come, we've got signs and one button.
All right, Eileen. Thank you.
Trying to be consistent.
Bridget?
So, yeah, I'm here to encourage you all, having listened to all you said, the complaints. I sub at the school. I understand. I've seen some of the behavior. I've experienced it. I've been cussed at. And I get it. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of that falls back on families. It doesn't matter what I do, what type of punishment I'm going to give them, it goes back on the families. And so that brings me back to the point that this town is strong, we pull together and we make things happen for one another. And this is what I'm asking the rest of us to do. I know some of you might be laughing at me, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, you got a kid who has trouble reading, find a friend who can help them. I'm happy to help kids read, and I've done it for a number of kids and have been thanked later in my life for it. But you have to reach out and you have to tell them that this is something important. And it's not going to come just at school, it has to come from all of us. I'll tell you right now, when I'm at the park and I see kids misbehaving with one another, I go up and I ask them, what are you doing? How many of you have done that? How many of you spend time at the park? You are the people who care. Where are their parents? I'm putting out what is part of reality. But don't pull in to yourselves and live within a bubble. You've got to reach out and you've got to be a part of the town. You just have to do that. Remember, if you want a civilized society, we all have to follow the rules. I get it. It's kind of hard to enforce it, I'll be honest. But we all have to come together at the same time to help one another. Last part, I heard everything, what everybody was saying and what Eileen was saying. You know, if you vote no for the levy, it's only going to make it worse. And I guess the choice would be then to send your kids down to Arlington. If you think that's a better idea, think about it. 2 hours on the bus. So I encourage you, please vote for the levy. Don't throw us into a tailspin. Your parents did it. My parents did it. I'm doing it. Vote yes.
Mikey?
Well, what I was gonna say has been addressed, and my main concern is the bullying. What happened to the rules about bullying? You could even call the cops at points about the bullying. You know, and if you got kids leaving this school and going to other schools, you're losing monies for that. So that really needs to be addressed. And Tracy, when you brought up the thing about the,
Stop for time.
Bonnie's. You know, when I went to school and started reading, they started with the sight reading. So I'm one of those people that can't read very well, and it's because I didn't have time to have use sight reading. And I mean, I would read to my granddaughter and she would help me sound out words. So I'm glad to hear about that. But anyway, the bullying, you're losing money and the students want away, so that really needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Trevor Burlingame?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I just don't have anything prepared. Some people have met me, some people haven't, but my name's Trevor Burlingame. My oldest is in ECAP, so I'm kind of new to dealing with school district stuff. But as far as anything I have to say about the levy in particular, considering the date on that is coming up very quickly. I know myself and other people have expressed concerns. They are across the board. Now I hear what other people are saying about it takes funding to do pretty much anything. As far as me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but me personally, there's just a lot of discrepancies that I've seen. And I have several more questions. I know my wife got with Tracy, you guys yesterday. We're going to get that scheduled out. But I guess a lot of people just don't feel like we're being represented very well. And things are just being decided, and it's against some of the problems that other people have brought up. They just feel like we're already in a tailspin, and it's like we want to pour more money into something that isn't working already. Right. I'm not going to sit here on a swing and be like for or against. I'm all for anybody looking up their own information, what they like or do not like. But I think there's several things that need to be addressed out of even just what people have said tonight, at least looked into. And so I guess I would urge board, looking at, I'm sure they do look into plenty of things. I could not imagine the busy work you guys have. But that's pretty much all I got. There's several discrepancies that I've found, and I'm working myself to get answers to these questions, but I would implore everybody else to do so prior to voting. That's about all I
Kathy?
No. My name's Kathy Hayden. I've heard a lot of complaints here tonight, but there's a great solution. And that's that we need a new educational model. Our children are not failing, we are failing our children.
Yes.
We sort our children by age and put them into grades accordingly. We teach with the same materials, the same time, the same pace, the same teachers. We assess by testing, and students feel like the school is not relevant. And then we have the problem of children being put into disability labels when they don't conform to our teaching model. And for 2 decades, these reforms have failed. But there's a new model. Instead of asking how smart is Johnny, we should be asking how is Johnny smart? Instead of putting children into grade levels, we need to put students together in student-designed education. Instead of rigid-paced learning, we need to let children be self-paced in their learning. Instead of fixed schedules, we need to have flexible schedules. Instead of isolation and competition, we need collaboration. Instead of compartmentalizing subjects, we need to incorporate problem solving, where many skills are needed to solve problems. Instead of being self-contained and isolated from the community, our children need to include external experiences. And instead of depression and anxiety, high achievement improves well-being. Many experts agree that we are using the wrong educational model. The way we're trying to teach our children, the sit down, be quiet, lecture style is not how children learn. And on the website called Inspired Learning, there's at least a dozen education experts that agree that in our whole nation, we need a new model. Examples of this model would be like going back to the one-room schoolhouse, where you have children of different ages in the same classroom, one teacher, and the older kids help the younger kids to learn. One of the benefits of that is it stops bullying. Another idea is to have children being taught by the same teacher more than 1 year. It cuts down that process of the teacher learning the children. Another idea is grouping children according to their interest level. Like if you have boys who love football, you put them all together. They would learn their math, their English, their science through football. And they would be motivated. That's what's lacking. Children need motivation. And so I'm almost done. That we could do this with the same building we have, the same staff we have, with less money. And it would get rid of bullying and depression, and there would be no need for levy. And these experiments, these are not experiments. These are tried and true. They're already done in home schools. And private schools are using these methods. And imagine we could do this. And imagine families moving to Darrington for the quality of our school district. That we would have such an excellent school system. It's doable, it's possible. Thank you.
Stephanie?
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm a para here. My husband and I have 3 kiddos. Anyway, I know this time and I don't have everything super mapped out. First, I just wanted to say, like, even though like I'm an employee here, that as a parent, there are things that are concerning to me as well. So I'm not, the positive things that I've been posting on Facebook are not turning a blind eye to some of the things I'm concerned about. And like one of my biggest concerns is the behavioral problems and how kids can be violent and like rude and terrible over and over and over. And sometimes I wonder, like, why is that kid still in our school? Like some of our middle schoolers, and I don't want to be like, I want to be careful because I'm an employee, but like parents of some of these kids really need to step up. But if those parents are not able to step up, if they are not in a place in their life where they can be the parents that their kids need, then we have to fill in the gap. And so it's kind of like this, it's a really difficult juggling act. Some of the middle schoolers scare me. Like I'm intimidated by them, and I'm learning how to get a little thicker skin and how to navigate that. But I would really like better consequences for some of those bigger behaviors. And as far as writing up, I just would say I wrote up some kids for chewing gum, and that was because I asked them to put the gum away, and I wasn't going to make a big deal about it, but they started sharing it with everyone in front of my face, and they put it in their mouth and then lied to me that they were not chewing gum, as if that gum in their mouth. And so I wrote them up for lying and being disrespectful to me as an adult. And so that's why, at one time, that's why. So if we could get more interest-based learning, that would be a game changer. That's been a game changer for my son. That anyway, I won't go into all that, but interest-based learning is definitely a lot more effective. But then as far as, you know, some of the other concerns, you know, about like the district people being overpaid, there are 15 towns in Western Washington that have a similar population to us. And out of all of those cities, for the superintendent position alone, Tracy's the second lowest paid superintendent, and that does not take into account that she's also a principal. So I would just say, I'm sorry, but that's not true. She's not overpaid. Our district is actually underpaid compared to a lot of Washington state districts. Washington state standardized testing does not give an accurate picture of how well a teacher is doing or actually how much the student knows, because kids rush through. They don't care sometimes. And also Washington State requires kids who are not at a third grade level, like if they have an IEP, they don't care. They could be making huge progress and they will still get tested at third grade. And then that brings the whole number down and does not reflect all of the work that they've done. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
Oh, I get my photos.
You're welcome to stay or whatever you want.
Oh, no.
No, not over.
Just begun.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Now they go over there. They go over there.
Yeah, they're gonna go over here. We can't hear you.
Me?
All right, policy updates.
Is there any one suggestion? Get a microphone so they're here.
Okay. I will, Lucy, you're in charge of bringing over the ASB. Can we use that
Yeah, we have a speaker.
next time?
Is it board comments? Both. Well, I didn't hardly hear Randy at all with his
Okay,
soft
so
little
it's
sweet
everybody.
voice. Okay, yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. Well,
Okay, thank
There
you.
are several people. That would be
Okay.
helpful. Thank you. See ya.
all right, policy, second reading. They're in your board packet from last month.
So now the policy that we tabled last month, that was 1815, right? And we'll be looking at that in the next one.
Yeah, it's on as a first reading still.
Okay. I just wanted clarification, so I thought we were dealing with it this time.
Well, since you tabled it, I put it back to first reading since it was
That's
still
fine.
in process.
That's fine, I just wanted some clarification.
But you could always pull it forward to second if you want.
Yeah.
There was a question regarding policy, procedure 3206. And that is referring to pregnant or pregnant students.
That's when we passed last
Right,
month.
but you guys had a question regarding the section under certification to participate. You guys wanted me to find out the legal clarification
The medical
for
verification.
whether or not we could ask a pregnant student for a certification from a healthcare provider. And the only way we can legally do that is if we ask all of the students for that certification. That's per Washington state law. So we may remove the language from our procedure, but we would still need to follow the law. So I'm recommending we leave it in the procedure so that we don't inadvertently do something that's not legal. And when a situation arises in that case, we will address our concerns in the health and welfare of, like we do any student with that student and that family. That's what I would recommend. So I recommend leaving it in just to make sure that we are aware of that state law.
Good.
Any other questions regarding the policies?
Nope. So I will make a motion to pass all the policies that are on our agenda.
Okay,
Second that motion. Lucy?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, passed. And then another policy to review.
Yes, it's in this week's packet. It's the 1815
1815 from.
from before, and it has, you guys just need to read it. Page 34, decide next month how you want to go with that language. Again, it is redundant, but if you want redundancy, that's fine. It is really up to the board how you want policy to read. So reflect on it. Next month, let's make a decision.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Maybe redundant, but at least it's not excessively long, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, if you want to eliminate redundant, that we would take out Washington state laws, because it says we follow the state constitution.
Correct. So reflect on it. Next meeting, we will have discussion regarding it, and you guys can vote on that policy.
All right, agenda item N, school board appreciation.
All right. Every January, we take time to say thank you to our board members. I'm going to stand. Say thank you to our board members, and I would like to do that right now as well. I would first like to thank one of our student representatives, Sophia Ross, who is not here right now, but we will make sure she gets her certificate and some cookies. I want to point out that the cookies have been provided by the, is it called Foods Class?
Bakery and pastry.
Bakery and
Baking and pastry.
Thank you. I knew I was saying.
Baking and Pastry. Avery is one of the students in that class. And Lucy, yeah. So they made the cookies for us tonight, so please help yourself.
So now I have a question, because I know the school can't give out high sugar products.
Okay,
but this is high sugar, isn't it?
I have no comment. I did not see the recipes. And we're not giving them to children, except these two, the reps. Oh, is he trying to get your cookies? I think he's trying to get your cookies.
We did adjust that wording for situations like that.
You're right, we did adjust. Lucy, thank you for your service. I know this, please stand. This is your second year as a rep. I feel safer knowing that you guys cooked them. If you're gonna eat them, then no. I trust everything that comes out of that kitchen, so.
So good.
Randy, thank you for your dedication to our district. Always asking the hard questions. I appreciate that.
Sometimes.
No, I do. And I do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. there's that kind.
I'll just walk. And Janet Lloyd, thank you, not only for your service as a teacher in the past, but as a board of directors, member of the board. Mari Perot. Yes, Jan.
Stand, I know.
Thank you for your dedication.
Don't lose your cookies.
That was a close call. And Jenny Requay. Thank you. As being board chair, she gets more from the rest. I appreciate it. All of us appreciate it. And Maggie Weimer. Thank you for your dedication. And on a side note, she is our Scholastic Book Fair correspondent. Thank you for your service to our district. And for those of you who are still here, please help yourself. Again.
The heat bar cookies are awful. You don't want those. I'm just saying. Just throw that out there.
No. Yay.
Agenda item O, gifts to the district, page 36.
Okay, there's a list. We very much appreciate. Okay. So we have a alum who has set forth some funds for kind of enrichment items and also mainly for scholarships. He donates a lot of money to our Darrington Alumni Association for scholarships. So we wrote a grant to him for bike helmets to we have bikes from a program, but the bike helmets were starting to fall apart. So he donated money for bike helmets. He donated money to the foods program for different equipment that they needed. I think most of that was when the power was out this summer, and some of the material, some of the items were destroyed in the freezer because we weren't thinking about food in the freezer in the high school, and so some of that was recovered through this money. And then he also donated, the 5th graders want to go on an overnight field trip, which the board has approved, and he donated money to help cut the costs of that for the families. We also have money donated by 2 family members in memory of Susan Richter, who was a board member and who recently passed away. I believe she was, sorry, also an alum. Sorry, someone can. We also, Hampton Lumber continues to donate for various events. There was a fundraiser, and the students' artwork was sold and raised $5,000 for our art program. They've also will be funding our noise opera for our elementary students this year. Sorry. And then Action Sports has donated some baseball gear, but we don't know how much that was. Just a bunch of different gear. So those are our donations.
The banner for the food safety, it wasn't to replace the food because the Apollo did that for us. These are containers.
Oh,
sorry, I was agreeing with you. Then it dawned on me I was wrong.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Do you accept the donations?
We need a motion to accept the donations, please. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Lucy?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, gifts accepted. Agreements and contracts.
Northwest ESD for CPR first aid training for staff.
We need a motion to approve first aid, please.
Motion to approve.
Second. Lucy?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right.
These cough drops don't work. And then, oh, sorry, you have to say that.
Personnel actions.
As stated before, we hired a part-time or for the remainder of the year, a lab teacher. That person was, had been working as a paraprofessional. So this is just the agreement to hire her for the lab position and then hire someone to take over that paraprofessional position.
We need a motion to approve that contract, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Lucy?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nope.
Oh, that cough drop is not working. No, it's my comments now. Before you have board comments. So, for my comments for the end of the meeting, I want to thank people for speaking out with their concerns. I will review the video to make sure I have notes made appropriately and start working with the board and staff in meeting those, addressing those needs. It will not happen overnight, but we definitely can put things in place to start addressing the concerns that have been brought up. And I appreciate those of you who spoke, regardless if you're a staff member or not, you're a community member, you're a parent, And that is first and foremost. I do encourage, like I said earlier, to come and talk to me about concerns so that I can address them and talk things over, because I can't respond during the board meeting in that manner. So I would encourage anyone else who might want to come talk with me. I would just really encourage it.
All right, board comments. Randy?
Yes, and I'll try to talk loud. So yeah, and I would love to thank everyone who spoke out today, because we're all here for one reason. We love the kids in our community, and we're here to support them. I'd like to thank Randy for what she said. For years, I thought no one was listening to me. You know, I've suggested making changes on how we educate our children. We know that what we're doing is kind of flatlined. We throw more money into it, but it really doesn't seem to achieve the results we hope for. I suggested changes to be made. In fact, I worked with a guy 2+ years back, and we kind of talked about a program here, and DEA blew it out of the water. They kind of ridiculed the whole idea, but yet here we are 2 years later, and we're still flatlining with where we're educating the kids. Last week, this program that I was talking about, we were hoping there would be money attached to start a program that wouldn't cost the district anything. I just found out last week, it looks like the money's there where it would fund a classroom, pay for the teacher, it wouldn't cost Darrington anything, would put kids into a classroom, and I'm not going to go into the details because we would have to sit down and see exactly what that looks like. But this is just one option. You know, I think we really need to look outside the box. As you can hear from the comments, a lot of the parents aren't happy. But, you know, changes need to be made. And this is a change, I think, you know, like I said, we need to look. And this is something that I don't see it hurting our kids. If anything, it's going to help, and it's going to cost nothing. And it will also alleviate some of the classroom sizes in the other rooms by pulling kids out into this, because we hear so many complaints. And Kathy, my wife who spoke, was kind of referring to this program that we're talking about. So I just, you know, for years I asked DEA, let's sit down and talk, let's sit down and talk. I think it's that time to talk because the parents spoke tonight. They want to hear some good news. On another front, so I'm also your legislative person on the board. I got some information today. I hope all of you kind of follow what's going on at Olympia, because, you know, your voice does matter. But this is one that really would impact our district if it was passed. It's a House Bill 2170. And the party that's in control of Olympia want to pass this. And what this would do, it would lock up a lot of our timber. It would put it, and I'll read you right here what it says. Yeah. This is what they want to call, it's an ecosystem lease, okay? Ecosystem leases could encumber trust land for up to 125 years. There are no provisions in House Bill 2170 for early lease buyout, which are standard provisions in a 10-year agricultural lease. Without an early buyout clause, the DNR would be blocked from using the leased land for better revenue opportunities. they basically want to take a lot of this forest land and put, you can't touch it for 125 years. We've been fighting this battle on timber money with those in power in Olympia, with our lands commissioner who ran that he was going to release these. Now, we know 2 years ago, they tried to pass a bill. It didn't come out of committee, but they wanted to spread the timber revenues to every school district in the state. And they wanted it spread by the population of the kids in that district, which would have taken, basically would have given us pennies and Seattle thousands of dollars, where currently they don't get timber revenues. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening with the timber revenues. And I will say we're fortunate that our three representatives here, Carolyn Eslick, Sam Lowell, and Keith Wagon are, they're all no votes on this, but like I said, they're in the minority. So I just thought we should all be aware, because we're here, a lot of people are talking on the levy, and this is just more money that's being cut out of our district. I think since I've been on my 5th year here, and I think only once now, I've seen timber revenue come into our district.
I think so,
Yeah, it's sporadic.
So just something to keep your eye on.
Not many comments from me. Just we've got February 13th, we've got our first teen night coming up, and we are doing that in partnership with FEB. So they did pick the day and the theme. I think they're calling it My Bloody Valentine. So we're really excited. Yep, it is Friday the 13th. So we're going to stick with that theme. We're very excited. And I just want to say, today with the whole bomb threat, all the kids on the DYC chat, they blew it up, and they said it went amazingly well. They were very grateful with how well the staff did. So they said it was very calm and they felt very safe. So thank you with whatever the staff did. I just got in my car and left, so I didn't do it right. So, but they were very grateful, and they said the parent protocols went great. So thank you for that. That's all I got.
Continue with that. I overheard parents today discussing the parent protocols, and they were really impressed. And even though it was a lot of detail and hassle, they all seemed very reassured that it was like that. And you were specifically mentioned, Cindy. So
Yeah, she was at the door giving all the directions as they came in, so they knew when they got to the table what was happening.
I was Vanna.
And then someone had mentioned the youth truth surveys. Is it possible for us to get the last couple emailed to us so we don't have to dig through our years of papers?
Yes, it's a thick document.
Okay. Or just if there's a way that we could have access to something. And then Jenny, when we have a bunch of people talk, can we stand up, just one of us say, let them know that we're not allowed to respond? Because I think some people don't know the rule and they feel like we're not
listening, but
Yep. So, be awesome. Thank you.
Also, thanks for everybody who comes and is willing to speak up. We do understand that it's difficult. Please talk to us, because this level of upset, and I haven't heard a single person, not a single person has contacted me specifically and said, I have these concerns. So, please do. That's what we're here for.
And ditto on what Janet said. I've had conversations with a few of you, and thank you all for coming. And I always say, please come to a meeting and share your feelings and your thoughts. And if you're not comfortable doing that and you want to talk privately, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. Home, work, here, wherever. Randy has posted that he is having the meeting at Bespoke.
I wouldn't say a meeting. I'm just going to be there having
An informal
coffee.
gathering for coffee and maybe breakfast, I hear. So if there's anything else that you want him to address and bring to the board, please share with him or any one of us. Thank you very much for sharing. AJ, did you have a question?
I did. When we email you guys directly, will you call us, or I never got an email back from the times that I've emailed directly or any, I mean, can you email back, or is that just to get the information from us and then it has to hold it?
No, if I get an email, I will email you back.
Yeah.
If you ask us, hey, can you call me and review? Because sometimes emails are more of a, well, not even that, or it's just like I feel like you're included, so you know, but it's not asking for that.
Right.
So.
But you do respond, I mean, that's what
100%, yes.
So you can email the board, however, they cannot respond to all.
Yes.
Yeah.
There cannot be a group, like a group email chain, so that's
That's just
important.
information. I have a PSA meeting coming up, and it's just good information for me to be able to
Mhm.
extend that.
Yeah, and, you know, you can also private message me.
Yeah, I find most of the people contact me through Facebook private message. So
Yeah.
that seems to be the new mod.
Or just show up at the cafe, that's what I do. Go to cafe meetings.
I prefer not to do the meetings at IGA, but it happens.
In the dairy section, right?
Or produce, yeah.
I don't know, that's up to you guys.
We are
We
going to
have,
go to executive session.
yeah,
How long would you guys like?
how long do you think it's gonna take?
15 enough?
We can come back and ask for more. Yes. But we can't come back before 15.
So let's do 10. 10, we can-
How many? 10 minutes.
That's what you got. Don't complain. Lucky about that. That's Stephanie. He's so great.